Welcome to the longest running quiz show in the area. Categories. High school students compete to answer questions on topics from art to science, history to current events. And now, here's your categories host, John Bartell.
Hi, welcome to Categories and our first game of the 2011-2012 school year. And our competitors today are the Shawnee Mission East Lancers versus the Blue Valley Northwest Huskies. Let's go ahead and meet our competitors. First from East.
Hi, my name's Matt, and I'm a junior.
Hi, my name's Lewis, and I'm a senior.
My name's Aiden, and I'm a senior.
I'm Brian, and I'm a sophomore.
Hi, my name is Hannah, and I'm a junior.
And our competitors from Northwest.
I'm Jesse, I'm a senior.
I'm Andrew, I'm a sophomore.
I'm Dan, I'm a freshman.
I'm Josh, I'm a senior.
And I'm Fedra, I'm a senior.
Fantastic. Here on Categories, we do have 2 rounds. The first round is that we will take turns answering questions. If a team answers incorrectly, the other team will get a chance to respond. We did do a coin toss before we started taping, and it was won by the Huskies. So Huskies, here is the first category. It is general knowledge. What term refers to the upward and downward movement of output on a computer's display? Dan.
Scroll.
Scroll or scrolling. Very good. East, here's your category. It's music, composers. He gave every penny of the money taken in for the Messiah to the Foundling Hospital in Dublin. Who was this brilliant and generous composer? Lewis?
Handel.
That is Handel. Northwest, the next category is Roman architecture. 3 structural devices primarily distinguish Roman architecture from Greek. Name any one of them. Josh.
Columns.
Cannot accept columns, sorry. Lancers, your chance to steal this Roman architecture category. 3 structural devices primarily distinguished Roman architecture from Greek. Name any one of them. Lewis.
Arches.
Arches is one of them. The other 2 would be the dome and the vault. Lancers, you do get the next category. It is geography. French Canada is the nickname for what Canadian province? Matt.
Quebec.
Quebec is correct. Northwest, your category is U.S. government. When the House and Senate meet or sit in joint session, where do they convene? Andrew?
The Congress building.
Cannot accept that. Lancers, your chance to steal this U.S. government category. When the House and Senate meet or sit in joint session, where do they convene? Brian?
The Capitol.
Cannot accept Capitol. We're looking for a more specific answer. We're looking for the House chambers. The House chamber. Lancers, you do get the next category. It is military history. Returning from the Soviet Union in 1942, his plane crashed and he and his companions underwent a 27-day ordeal on a raft before being rescued. He is most famous for his 26 victories in dogfights during World War I. Name him. Lewis?
The Red Baron.
Cannot accept the Red Baron. Huskies, your chance to steal this military history category. Returning from the Soviet Union in 1942, his plane crashed, and he and his companions underwent a 27-day ordeal on a raft before being rescued. He is most famous for his 26 victories in dogfights during World War I. Name him. We're looking for Eddie Rickenbacker. Eddie Rickenbacker. Huskies, you do get the next category, general knowledge. I'll give you the superstitious cause, and you supply the superstitious consequence. Here's the cause. If you catch a wedding bouquet, Dan?
You'll be the next woman to get married.
You'll be the next woman to get married is correct. Lancers, U.S. history is your category. With which country did Thomas Pinckney negotiate the Pinckney Treaty in 1795, which allowed Americans to deposit goods on the New Orleans docks without paying tax? Hannah.
Spain.
It is Spain. Huskies, your category is economics. In the late 1950s, economic policies known as the Great Leap Forward occurred in what nation? Phaedra?
England.
It is not England. Lancers, chance to steal this economics category. In the late 1950s, economic policies known as the... Oh, we'll continue. Known as the Great Leap Forward occurred in what nation? Matt, I see you ringing. Go ahead.
China.
It is China. That is correct. Huskies, you get the next... Oh, I'm sorry. That would actually be for East again, correct. Geography is your category. Islands are often associated with other land masses. I'll name an island, and you name the nearest continent, the Hebrides. Brian?
Europe.
It is Europe. That is correct. Northwest, art is your category. Intaglio, lithography, screen, and relief are all names of what process in art? Time on that. Lancers, your chance to steal this art category. Intaglio, lithography, screen, and relief are all the names of what process in art? Hannah?
Printing.
Printing is correct. Current events is the next category for you, East. The United States has pulled its ambassador out of what country over worries for his personal safety after attacks on his embassy? Aiden?
Iran.
It is not Iran. Huskies, chance to steal this current events category. The United States has recently pulled its ambassador out of what country over worries for his personal safety after attacks on his embassy? Josh?
Libya.
It is not Libya. We're looking for Syria. Syria. Huskies, you do get the next category. It's children's literature. Name the author of Peter Rabbit. Time on that. East, you have a chance to steal this children's literature category. Name the author of Peter Rabbit. Lewis, you got it in time.
Dr. Seuss.
It is not Dr. Seuss. It's Beatrix Potter. Beatrix Potter. Lancers, you get the next category. It is military history. The opponents of the Allied powers during the First World War included Germany, Austria-Hungary, Turkey, and Bulgaria. These foes were collectively known as what? Lewis?
The Triple Alliance.
That is not correct. Huskies, chance to steal this military history category. The opponents of the Allied powers during the First World War included Germany, Austria-Hungary, Turkey, and Bulgaria. These foes were collectively known as what? Jesse?
The Central Powers.
The Central Powers is correct. Huskies, you have the next category. It's vocabulary regarding clothing. A blanket-like cloak having a hole in the center for the head, worn in South America is... Andrew?
A poncho.
It is a poncho. Lancers, math is your category. What is the quickest way to tell whether the solutions to a quadratic equation will be rational or irrational? Matt?
The discriminant.
That is correct, the discriminant. Huskies, you have the next category, which is languages, Italian. The Italian phrase, Viva il Papa, is shouted in St. Peter's Square when white smoke is seen coming from the chimney of the Sistine Chapel. Give me the English translation of Viva il Papa. Dan?
Long live the Pope.
Long live the Pope, exactly right. Lancers, science is your category. What study is the application of the properties of liquids to engineering problems? Aiden?
Thermodynamics.
Cannot accept thermodynamics. Huskies, science is the category, your chance to steal. What study is the application of the properties of liquids to engineering problems?
Hydraulics.
Hydraulics is correct, or we would have accepted fluid mechanics, but either way, that is correct. And you have tightened up the score a bit, with Shawnee Mission East leading 8 to Blue Valley Northwest 6. Huskies, you do get the next category. It's science, mammals. The mammals with the least amount of hair live in what type of environment? Dan?
Aquatic environments.
Aquatic environment is correct. Lancers, you have the next category, U.S. government. What federal body has the legal responsibility for conducting elections among employees to determine which, if any, union that they favor as their bargaining agent? Lewis?
Internal Revenue Service.
That is incorrect. Northwest, chance to steal this U.S. government question. What federal body has legal responsibility for conducting elections among employees to determine which, if any, union that they favor as their bargaining agent? Fedra?
Department of Labor.
I cannot accept that. We're looking for a little more specific. The National Labor Relations Board. Huskies, you do get the next category. It's U.S. geography, symbols. What is the state dance of Washington? Time on that. Lancers, chance to steal this U.S. geography symbols question. What is the state dance of Washington? Lewis?
The waltz.
It is not the waltz. It's the very common square dance. Square dance. Lancers, you do get the next category. It's U.S. history. Only a dozen amendments to the U.S. Constitution have been added since 1870, but 4 were ratified during the administration of one president. Name that chief executive in office when the 16th, 17th, 18th, and 19th Amendments were enacted. Aiden.
Abraham Lincoln.
It is not Abraham Lincoln. Huskies, chance to steal. Only a dozen amendments to the U.S. Constitution have been added since 1870, but 4 were ratified during the administration of one president. Name that chief executive in office when the 16th, 17th, 18th, and 19th Amendments were enacted. Jesse?
Wilson.
It is Wilson. Huskies, you get the next category. It's government. What is the highest rank or title that can be achieved by a career diplomat? Time on that. Lancers, chance to steal this government category. What is the highest rank or title that can be achieved by a career diplomat? Brian?
Ambassador.
Ambassador is correct. Lancers, you do get the next category. It's fine arts theater. Name the occupation of Mr. Webb in the play Our Town. Hannah?
Newspaper editor.
Newspaper editor is correct. Northwest, next category for you is ancient history. Croesus was the ruling monarch of Lydia. He was defeated by the king of Persia in 546 BC. Name that Persian king.
Darius.
It is not Darius. I'm sorry, but we will have to repeat the question one more time for the Lancers for a chance to steal right before we go to halftime. Ancient history is the category. Croesus was the ruling monarch of Lydia. He was defeated by the king of Persia in 546 BC. Name that Persian king. Matt?
Xerxes.
It is not Xerxes. It is Cyrus. Cyrus the Great. That does bring us to halftime as we kind of brought it a little bit closer here before half. Shawnee Mission East does lead with a score of 10 to Blue Valley Northwest 8. At this time of our program, during halftime, we do go to a student from each team who will give us a campus update. Let us know what's happening in and around their school. And from Shawnee Mission East, we have Matt. Matt, what is happening with the Lancers?
Well, our fall sports are wrapping up. Our football is going pretty strong. We're 4-3. Soccer was dominating. We are 12-2. And our lady tennis team took the state championship. Also, we are starting setup on our winter musical, which will be Bye Bye Birdie. And we recently celebrated Mole Day.
Fantastic. That's excellent. That's on what, 10/23? Is that when that is? Awesome. All right, Huskies. Jesse, what is happening? We're at Blue Valley Northwest.
Well, The two biggest pieces of news are our soccer team. They recently clinched first for their regional and are in the state playoffs. They were 11-3-1 this season. And our other thing is the fall play, which we will be performing later at the State Thespian Conference, is the musical Comedy Murders in 1940.
Awesome. So once again, both schools doing a fantastic job of not only on the athletic field or arena of competition, but doing a great job with the fine arts and obviously doing really well at categories as well. All right, as we head into the second round, it is our lightning round in which we place a question on the floor for either team to answer. If a team does respond incorrectly, the other team will get a chance to steal the category. So both teams, just let me remind you, let me call on you before you answer. Here we go. Both teams, geography. Landmarks is the category. In what building do we find the Great Rotunda with its high dome? Phaedra?
The Capitol building.
The Capitol building is correct. Fine arts for both teams. The invention of recitative or dramatic melody paved the way for what form of dramatic singing or musical theater? Lewis?
Opera.
Opera is correct. Movies. Which two weapons does Dorothy use to kill the wicked witches in The Wizard of Oz? Aiden?
House and water.
And water, that is correct. Not commonly thought of as weapons, but. Poetry for both teams. Name two of the three principal characters in Dante's Divine Comedy. Jesse?
God and Michael.
Cannot accept that. Lancers, chance to steal this poetry category. Name two of the three principal characters in Dante's Divine Comedy. Lewis?
Donatello and Michelangelo.
Cannot accept that either. We're looking for Dante, Virgil, or Beatrice. Both teams, here we go. Geography is the category. The largest city between Canada and Great Britain. This national capital is heated by underground hot springs. Matt?
Reykjavik.
Reykjavik is correct. U.S. history for both teams. Revived in the 19th century USA, it was used by King Darius in Persia for message delivery. What am I talking about? Phaedra?
The Postal Service.
Cannot accept postal service. Lancers, you can have a chance to steal this U.S. history category. Revived in the 19th century USA, it was used by King Darius in Persia for message delivery. What am I talking about? Lewis?
Carrier pigeons.
Cannot accept carrier pigeons. We're looking specifically for a Pony Express. Pony Express. Both teams, sports is the category. Of football, baseball, rowing, and tennis, what is the oldest American college sport? Josh?
Rowing.
It is rowing. U.S. government for both teams. Only 4 presidents of the United States never held any other elective office. Name any 2 of them. Aiden?
Dwight D. Eisenhower and Nixon.
That is incorrect. Huskies, chance to steal. Dan?
Eisenhower and Ronald Reagan.
That too is incorrect. Eisenhower is one of them, but Grant, Taft, and Hoover are the other 3. Science, space for both teams. Earth travels through space, and this is multiple choice. Earth travels through space at a speed of how many miles per second? 12.1, 15.3, 18.5, or 21.1? 21.1 is incorrect. Lancers, chance to steal this science space category. Earth travels through space at a speed of how many miles per second? 12.1, 15.3, 18.5, or 21.1? Lewis?
18.5.
It is 18.5. Math is the next category for both teams. It's a fairly long question, so make sure you please pay attention. Usually, triangles are classified by angles or by sides. By sides, equilateral, isosceles, and scalene. However, if I classified by angle by saying a triangle is acute, what would its major characteristic be? Andrew?
All of its angles are less than 90 degrees.
That is exactly what I'm looking for. Geography, vocabulary is what I'm looking for on this next category. The name of this eastern U.S. river comes from the Indian word meaning where goods are brought in. Coincidentally, it could also have been derived from the Greek word for river. Josh.
The Potomac.
Potomac is correct. You've narrowed the gap to 2. Shawnee Mission East leads 14-12. Both teams, science, inventors is the category. An electric current will flow from a filament through a vacuum to a plate. This effect is the principle behind vacuum tubes and was discovered in 1883 by what prolific American inventor?
Thomas Edison.
It is Thomas Edison. Andrew, let me remind you to please wait until you're called on, but that is correct. General knowledge for both teams. What home for wayward boys is located near Omaha, Nebraska? It's Brian.
Boys Town.
It is Boys Town. Vocabulary, law. If a defendant does not believe he can receive a fair trial in the area where the crime of which he is accused was committed, he can ask the court to move the trial to another area. What is this called? Lewis?
Extradition.
It is not extradition. Huskies, chance to steal this vocabulary law question. If a defendant does not believe he can receive a fair trial in the area where the crime of which he is accused was committed, he can ask the court to move the trial to another area. What is this called? It's called a change of venue. Change of venue. Fine arts is the next category for both teams. It is multiple choice. Albert Bierstadt, Thomas Moran, and Charles Russell are all best known for their paintings depicting A, beautiful women, B, the early West, C, inanimate objects, or D, ships. Hannah?
B, the early West.
The early West is correct. Music, lyrics is the next category. Give the last line of the patriotic song America, not to be confused with America the Beautiful. From every mountainside, let freedom ring. That's what I'm looking for. Shakespeare's next category. Identify the Shakespearean play from the following opening line. I thought the king had more affected the Duke of Albany than Cornwall. Brian?
King Lear.
It is King Lear. World geography for both teams. What is said to be the coldest and most undesirable place in Russia? Fedra?
Serbia.
Cannot accept Serbia. Lancers, chance to steal this world geography question. What is said to be the coldest and most undesirable place in Russia? Hannah?
Siberia.
Siberia is correct. You've opened up a bit of a lead. Shawnee Mission East is now leading 18-13. World religions for both teams. Who is known as the father of Western monasticism? St. Augustine, St. Benedict, St. Francis, or St. Anselm? Josh?
St. Francis.
St. Francis is incorrect. World religions for East. Who is known as the father of Western monasticism? St. Augustine, St. Benedict, St. Francis, or St. Anselm? Aiden?
St. Augustine.
It's not St. Augustine, it's St. Benedict. St. Benedict. U.S. history for both teams. What evangelist was regarded as the single greatest influence on the Prohibition movement? Billy Sunday. Billy Sunday, kind of a fun name on that one. Guess he was kind of meant to do that. All right. General knowledge, insurance for both teams. Persons injured while riding in a car, in your car, are probably covered by what kind of insurance? Lewis?
Liability insurance.
It is liability insurance. Science, physics for both teams. What three-word term is used for the point at which an object would be perfectly balanced in all positions if that object were suspended? Aiden.
Center of mass.
I can accept center of mass or center of gravity. Both are acceptable. Geology for both teams. Of the three major groups of rocks, Which one is formed exclusively at or near the surface of the earth instead of deep inside the crust? Lewis.
Sedimentary.
That is exactly right. Sports, both teams. Starting in 1956, this award is presented annually to the player selected as the pitcher of the year. Josh.
The Cy Young.
Cy Young is correct. Vocabulary for both teams. Identify this synonym ending with the suffix IVE. It's a verbal mood that offers supposition. Fedra?
Appositive.
I cannot accept that. Lancers, your chance to steal this vocabulary category. Identify this synonym ending with the suffix IVE. It's a verbal mood that offers supposition. Hannah?
Subjunctive.
Subjunctive is exactly right. Literature for both teams. One of the conditions laid upon him by the king of the island where he was marooned was that he would have to carry a messenger and a horse in his pocket, if necessary. Who was he? Jesse?
Gulliver?
It is Gulliver. Current events, both teams. Which St. Louis Cardinals sluggard tied the record? Josh?
Albert Pujols.
Albert Pujols with Reggie Jackson and Babe Ruth. U.S. geography for both teams. New York City's metropolitan area includes portions of New Jersey and Connecticut. What other state is considered part of the metropolitan area of Omaha, Nebraska? Aiden?
Iowa.
Iowa is correct. It's probably the only time you hear New York and Omaha compared. All right, math is the next category for both teams. 8 men are in a room. Each man shakes hand with each of the others once. How many handshakes are made total? Matt?
28.
28 is correct. Sports. Star, Flying Dutchman, and Tornado are all classes in which Olympic sport? Lewis?
Decathlon.
It is not decathlon. Huskies, chance to steal the sports category. Star, Flying Dutchman, and Tornado are all classes in which Olympic sport? Jesse?
Gymnastics.
It is not gymnastics. We're talking yacht racing. Yacht racing.
Next guess.
U.S. government's the next category. How many continental congresses were held? Matt?
2.
2 is correct. Science, chemistry. In chemistry, this general term refers to any substance which is used to detect or measure another substance or convert one substance into another. Fedra?
Indicator.
It is not indicator. Lancers, you will finish out this game here by trying to steal this category. Science and chemistry. In chemistry, this general term refers to any substance which is used to detect or measure another substance or convert one substance into another by means of reaction which it causes. What am I talking about? Lewis?
Substrate.
It is not a substrate. It's a reagent. Reagents is what we're talking about. Well, that does bring us to a conclusion of our first game of the 2011-2012 school year. And it is won by Shawnee Mission East with a score of 25, Blue Valley Northwest 16. Please join us again right here on Categories as we bring you the best and brightest minds of all the high schools in the area.